Welcome to What's Happening. I'm your host, Paula Hersey, and today we have a really great event coming up. Have you just written a book and wondering how to get published? Well, there's an event just for you coming up on May 3rd at the Cultural Center. We have two writers with us, I would assume, that are really looking to help and have put together this event. We have Mary Jane Xenakis.
Xenakis,
I did pretty good on that Greek name.
That was good.
And Catherine Kleekamp, an author as well. So this event, tell us a little bit about yourselves so we have some context of who you are, Mary Jane.
I'm a new wash ashore to Cape Cod. I have been here since the winter of 2009. I take a lot of art classes. I'm a retired teacher, a special needs teacher. It's always been a dream of mine to get into writing books. This will help me with a little bit further knowledge on moving me in that direction.
That's wonderful. And Catherine, you have just written a book and gotten published.
I have. Actually, I consider myself an artist first.
Right.
And over the years, having painted Cape Cod scenes, many of the iconic places, I wrote a description, a little history, a vignette of what the painting was. And that somehow over the years evolved into a book. So the new book, and I've actually worked with one of the gentlemen we've been speaking about, Pete Schiffer, and yes, it was recently published.
I did. I follow your Facebook page. I love your painting. So let's talk a little bit about the program. So there's a lot of what we call the creative economy here on Cape Cod. There's a lot of writers that probably have written a book or in the process of writing a book or thinking about writing a book. But the publishing is really somewhat difficult from what I understand from anecdotal services is that it's hard to get noticed, or it's really difficult to understand what the steps are to publishing. So I'm imagining this event kind of evolved out of those kinds of questions?
You're right. First of all, I think I'd like to say the event is being put on by the National League of American Penwomen, the Cape Cod branch.
Yep.
And I think you folks here are familiar with Marion Vuillemeyer.
Yes.
And she actually is the individual. She did Books of the World here for many years.
Yes.
She formed the Cape Cod Writers Center.
Yep.
And she was the individual who reinstated the National Penwomen on Cape Cod. And she was known to bring publishers to Cape Cod for those people who were writers. So we felt there is a need for that now. Can be a very complicated process. It's not only writing a book, but it's, do I need an editor? Do I need a PR person? What about my design? What's the cost going to be? So there are lots of questions that the neophyte would have. And we thought it'd be kind of interesting if we could have a traditional publisher, Pete Schiffer, of Schiffer Publishing, and someone who knows the whole gamut of self-publishing come and address the needs of people who will come to the event.
Right. So that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, we've heard a lot about self-publishing. In this day and age, having been in the technology industry, we call it the gig economy because you literally can go anywhere and get something done online. It's very easy to kind of do your research that way. But there's nothing out there that replaces somebody who has that knowledge, that's traveled that road, that's sitting in the same room with you. So you have a program that Pete Schiffer, who his bio is fantastic. They are publishers. Schiffer Publishing has over 6,000 titles in print. That's just amazing out there for this day and age, and a house still being a publishing house out there. And then Michael Grossman will speak on self-publishing. Take us through the evening of what's going to happen. It's at the Cultural Center. People arrive, and what happens?
They'll probably have refreshments. Is that?
We'll have first of all, networking
Yes.
refreshments.
Yes.
And then each of the gentlemen will have about 45 minutes, a half an hour, 45 minutes to speak. But what we'd like to do is leave most of the time for the individuals in the audience with specific questions they may have, just so that those needs are being addressed.
Excellent. So let's talk about some of these questions. I bet you had a few when you first published, right?
Well, maybe it's a good incentive to bring people to this event, but I will tell you that Schiffer Publishing, which has a huge presence on Cape Cod, they do many Cape Cod books, they're always looking for authors.
Huh.
And they put a little bookmark in every Schiffer book that says, "Are you ready to have your book published?"
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's a wonderful opportunity for people to meet a publisher up front. I did have questions. As it turned out, I worked with Schiffer, and I can tell you, you become part of their family. Unlike those who have said, "Oh, my publisher wanted to change this, wanted to change that." Schiffer, what they're known for among their artists, among their writers, is they like the books in the author's voice. They like to keep that. With me personally, they didn't make many changes. They honored my design. I designed the book and the cover, and they put it through the way I wanted them to. Another kind of a fun part of it, every year in September, Schiffer has a pig roast, and they invite all of their authors to come to the pig roast to visit the facility. It's in Atglen, Pennsylvania, right in the heart of Pennsylvania Dutch country.
Wow.
So you do feel like you're part of the family.
Right. Amazing. What do you hope to get from this as an
For me,
emerging writer,
really,
right?
it's more an education and what direction I might want to go. Never having done it before, it's just an education. I mean, you know,
Do you have questions between self-publishing and a publishing house?
Well, in the publishing house, my understanding is that most of it's got to be pretty ready.
Sure.
Whereas with self-publishing, what I'm understanding is that they'll help you with certain, they can guide you, this gentleman who is coming,
Michael Gross.
thank you.
Grossman.
Michael Grossman. Will, he can steer you in the direction of, do you need an editor? Do you need copyright? Do you need an illustrator? And how to meet up with these people. And I think that's important for any aspiring author. And
Well, some of the questions, what does a publisher look for in a good book proposal? I don't think, as a voracious reader, I don't think I ever think about what a publisher might look for. All I want to do is read a good book, right? What are typical costs of self-publishing? What are marketing and selling considerations? I hadn't really thought of that.
That for the author of the book, that is a big consideration, because Schiffer, for example, does marketing and distribution. A lot of individuals who self-publish, they have to take their books around to various venues where they might like to sell. A lot of major Barnes & Noble, for example, don't really sell self-published books.
Interesting.
So there are some differences in the marketing. And obviously, I know one of the questions that I was asked with Schiffer is, how are you going to market your book? What are you going to do? Which is very helpful to know. And they support. They will, you know, once you have that book, they're wonderful with sending out press releases, with doing graphics, posters, and things of that sort. So that's one advantage of working with a publisher. The nice thing about the evening, each gentleman is going to be speaking about the benefits and the pitfalls. So it's not just the pitfalls of self-publishing. There are benefits as well.
Right. So I like the diverse of both of these speakers, that they'll really delve into each pros and cons of each type of publishing. So May 3rd, It's coming up right around the corner.
Yes,
is.
yes,
And this is a free event.
yes, yes.
And sponsored by the National League of Penn Women, the Cape Cod branch right here. So that's a fantastic way to, is the league looking for more members here on the Cape?
We always are looking. We're always welcoming. I should qualify, although it's called the National League of American Penn Women, we have authors, we have artists, and we have people in the performing arts.
Oh.
So it really has expanded beyond its original name. And just very quickly, the reason it came to be is when it was organized in 1897. It's the oldest organization
goodness.
for women. Was organized because women were not accepted into the National Press Club. So it
Oh,
started with
interesting.
writers, and then it expanded to artists and performing arts.
Wow. Mary Jane, is there a reservation process for this event, or is it?
No, it's free to the public. Just come, right? You know.
Yep. It's 6 to 8:30, so it's 2.5 hours.
Right.
Cultural Center of Cape Cod, right in South Yarmouth, right on the old bank.
Beautiful
Yes.
building.
Oh, absolutely
Yes.
gorgeous
Yeah.
building. And their new area out back, the Owl building, is with all their
Yeah.
work
Oh,
classes and
yes.
their studios now are just amazing. Anything else you want to talk about for that evening?
No, we'd just love to welcome all of your viewers, and I
Okay.
think it'll be a lot of fun. And, you know, there'll be a lot of networking as well. And one of the things that Penn Women does is we like to mentor new people who are interested. So
great.
give chance. We'll have a table there with some of our,
So even if you're an
Yes.
aspiring writer and haven't really put anything down on the paper yet, right?
absolutely.
That artists, performing art, whatever. I mean,
Sure.
musicians, dancers. We will have people there who can give you more information about what it would be to join and how to do it.
That's fantastic, and it's NLAPW, CapeCod.com. So folks can learn more about the National League of American Penn Women, the Cape Cod branch. And this event is, help, I wrote a book, now what? Wednesday, May 3rd, 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Cultural Center. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Mary Jane.
Very
Thank you.
welcome.
What a great event for folks here on the Cape. I know there's a lot of writers out there that would really benefit from this event.
Thank you.
I'm Paula Hersey, and this is What's Happening.